Right, I'm Dean Williamson, and I'm sitting here with Laurie Keats. Now, I don't know a lot about Laurie, but Laurie's just given me his book called A Lucky Life, and so instead of me reading it now, let's see if we can paraphrase it a bit, shall we, Laurie? Hey, I understand that really you are the man behind really the Golden Shears and a lot of the thinking from back in the early days, and it's 60 years now. So
yes,
what happened 60 years ago that started the
Well,
Golden
it
Shears?
sort of started about 63 years ago with a group of young farmers, and there was no national competition for shearing. The wool board gave a trophy for the Royal Show each year to run the New Zealand Championship.
Right.
But shearers never travelled out of their district much in those days.
And you thought there should be a real focus on it?
Yeah, well, some of us had done quite well in competitions, and we wanted to find out just how good we were.
Right.
And
How many were in the first competition you held here?
I think it was 270 odd,
Really?
which amazed everybody.
Yeah. And that was run by the local young farmers?
No, that one was held at the showgrounds, and the show weren't interested in it, but told us we could use the Ramfair Pavilion to run the competition and charge like a sideshow, which we did, and of course the queues outside trying to get in just amazed everybody, and from that we managed to get more interest. We'd spent a couple of years trying to get interest in a national shearing competition here without, and basically they regarded us a bit mad. And
What, the shearers or the idea of the competition?
the idea of the competition, who'd travel far to go to shearing competition.
And so in that first one, you had that number of shearers there,
Yep.
that number of entrants,
Yep.
and that was Golden Shears day
Yep.
one, was it?
Yep.
Right. And how far afield did they come from?
All over New Zealand.
Right. How did you publicise it to get them?
A wee bit through the wool board instructors. Godfrey was fairly cool on the idea, whether he regarded it as a challenge to what they were doing. We convinced him, or tried to convince him that apart from challenging, we were right with it. The two could run together. Once he realised it was a goer, of course he was very helpful.
I bet he did, because it would have showcased the quality, and that's
Oh,
what
yeah,
it was all about.
yeah.
So Godfrey and Ivan, were they shearing in that first one?
Yes, Godfrey, Ivan won it,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He won the first.
and Godfrey was second.
Yeah. And were some of those other names in those shearing course days, the Alan Barker, he taught me to shear, and
They
Robin
probably
Pitt,
were. I'd
they?
have to look in the first program to see.
Yeah. And the instructors, that whole instruction for shearing would have grown
Yeah.
quite strongly out of
The
it.
wool board wasn't very keen on the bones, Godfrey shearing in it, for fear that he wouldn't be placed, which they would damage it.
Their reputation.
But Godfrey was confident he was going to win it, and very nearly did.
Yeah. And how did you go that first year?
I was a starter.
Good on. I've done a few competitions like that too. That's good, isn't it?
If I'd have wanted
It's
to
the
do
modern
it,
thing. It's all about the taking part.
yeah, well, if I'd have wanted to do any good in the competition, I'd have had to stood aside from Golden Shears,
Right.
because I couldn't do everything.
Well done. And we're sitting here in the museum here in Masterton as well. The shearing museum. If anyone hasn't been here, they absolutely must. You've been a bit of a driving force here too, I think.
Well, I served in the apprenticeship getting Golden Shears off the ground.
Proved you could get things done.
Well, yes, and they see I don't go to too many Golden Shears meetings now, and they rang me after one of them and said they've decided that they'd like a museum. Would I be interested in being on the committee? And I said yes. When I got the minutes, I found I was chairman, so away I went again. And
This place is
again, they, for a start, some of the locals thought I was mad. And
You're probably proving you are.
yeah,
And you're not shearing this, they've got here the, what do they call it? Not the
Evergreens.
veterans, the evergreens. Yeah. You've...
I'm past that.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're coming around again.
Yeah.
Okay. How many in the evergreens are there?
Well, they're in 3 grades. The veterans goes from 55 up,
Yep.
which is just ridiculous because 55-year-olds are still shearing full time.
Oh, yep.
And it should start at 65 at least.
Yeah.
And that's when you can get the super.
Great though, isn't it great that there's still guys, people sharing it
Yeah,
like that?
and loving it.
Yeah.
And there's 6 in there, grade 3, including Ian Harrison that was in the first final here.
Right.
And,
Now you've been farming. Is this how did you shear to get a farm? Did you?
Oh, yeah.
You did.
well, you couldn't in those days because there was, all those open shears, well, I shouldn't say all those, the vast majority of them got their farms through shearing and buying a rough block, working on it when they weren't shearing, and then went and proved it, and either bought the one next door or sold theirs and moved up. And Tom Blow and all those blokes.
I remember sitting next to Sir Brian Lahore at one stage, and he was saying that he's sure to get his farm. He used to farm during the, on the wet days, and he'd be shearing whenever he could and staying out with the farmers and things as well. And that's what you were doing too. So did you shear alongside Sir Brian?
Yes.
Who taught who to shear?
I'm a bit older than Brian, so I taught him.
Yeah, I did.
Well, in one of his press releases, he said I taught him to shear. I was probably shearing for his father because they were next door neighbours.
Oh, okay.
And so I saw a lot of him anyhow.
Brilliant. Well, I remember him saying then that of some of the All Blacks that it could have done them the world of good to get out and do a few days shearing. There's something about that work ethic, isn't there?
Yeah.
I remember Alan Barker and Robin Kidd and co when we were doing it. They thumped that into us during those.
Oh yeah.
Who were some of the great coaches for shearing that were out there back in those days?
Oh well, it was Vince Naresdale was Bowen's first chief instructor.
I was sure in Vince's shed, and I did my first 200 in his brother's shed, Kevin. Yeah, racing against his son, Buff, actually.
Yeah. And
our names.
I think I don't know if Kevin was ever an instructor, but there was Claude Waite, Ian Rutherford. The whole.
Alan Barker's now retired up in Fielding.
Yeah.
And this museum, this is a credit to you. If anyone's haven't been to this museum, they must. It's like the Fielding Coach House Museum. This place is just brilliant. The passion that's obviously gone into it.
Oh yes. And we've hardly bought a thing in it. It's all been donated. This just arrived recently.
I'm going to do a plug for your book. Can I do a shameless plug for your book? They can buy this at the museum, can they?
There's not many left now, but they can.
Right. It's called A Lucky Life, and it's worth having a look at. Tell me, I'm going to show you that. So, Laurie Keats' book, A Lucky Life. I'm sure there's many a good yarn in that one. So when was the last sheep you shorn?
About 18 months ago.
How did that go?
Didn't.
How did that end?
I got to the last side and she stood up and walked away.
Oh, she did.
And I thought there's a message in that.
You're right, good on you, and you took it.
Yeah.
You
I
still
still
love
shear
watching
the
it?
odd,
Yeah.
I shear the odd lamb and hog it.
Good on you.
But
I can tell there's the passion there too. We've just watched the junior semis together, and we were chatting away. We still love if you've ever been on a shearing board, you just seem to never lose that passion.
Yeah.
Do you?
You're always still keen.
Yeah, for sure.
But, and I suppose I always will be.
Right. Laurie, it's been absolutely... We're not getting emotional, are we? Now that
No.
Oh, okay. It's been an absolute privilege having a chat with you. You're a bit of a legend. I'm glad. I'm absolutely stoked to get your book. I look forward to having a read of that.
Oh, yes.
And I look forward to watching the finals with you over the next couple of days.
Yes, well, I stay here most of the time because it's so much quieter and all the old boys come in here and looking for me. And
Right. Oh, you're an exhibit.
no, but I could generally make a cup of coffee.
Good on you. All right, that's brilliant.
And
Everyone, Laurie Keats. So Laurie Keats is one of the founders of the Golden Shears, and this is the 60th anniversary. It's been an absolute privilege having a chat with you, Laurie. Thank you very, very much.
oh, it's a pleasure.
Good on you.